defense when he beats his
I
wife.
have no idea why he doesn't just get the beer. Anyway, hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to
Hi, Nick.
Beer Analysis 101 with Greg, myself,
Yeah.
and a few others I'm about to introduce. We're going to actually do a beer that Greg sent me a bottle of.
Yeah.
It is time for Great Lakes Brewing's 2020 bottle of Beard of Zeus Bourbon Barrel Aged Barley Wine.
Yeah. This came
More
up
into the
before COVID.
details. Pre-COVID beer. All right. So you already know that Greg's here, so we're not going to talk about Greg. So Lee of High Tide and Vibe, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm just doing fabulous, Nick. How are you doing, you lovely gentleman yourself?
Oh, I try. I mostly fail because Greg's still here.
Well, I mean, that's on you. You keep bringing them back. So
Yeah, just get the abortion, Nick. Come on.
You're not wrong. All right. And, of course, Mr. Ashley Sexton of Sexton Brewing Co. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing fantastic. Just survived another retail day and looking forward to a nice sessionable ale. So glad to be here.
yeah, good session ale we got going here.
We're going to be sessioning this beast. And the next up, of course, we've got a digital representation of somebody who couldn't be with us tonight.
Oh, God.
Thanks so much for having me, Nick, and thank you so very, 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 very much for this beer, Greg. You're amazing.
Hi, Terry.
I love you. Barley wine, kind of maybe scary, but people say this is one of the best beers of the year, so excited.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to have to talk about Greg then. So, Greg, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm just fantastic, Nick. All this Greg talk is just giving me all sorts of energy.
You mean erection?
Yes, I am. But that's okay. We'll just keep the camera at...
He just muted himself.
I accidentally closed my browser. Thank you very much.
You didn't leave. You're still here.
No, I just minimized it, and then I guess it mutes it automatically.
Oh, you know what? That's a good thing to know.
Yeah.
Because we'll just send you a Facebook message, and whenever you go to read it, you mute yourself.
I don't know if it works if we just go to a different tab. Let's find out. Did it mute me? No, it didn't mute me.
Yeah, damn it. All right. Well, anyway, so without further ado, let's get down to the actual show itself. And I forgot I rebooted my computer. I got to open the beer history. Hear everybody saying, way to go, Nick.
Oh, okay. By the way, it doesn't mute me when I minimize either, so I don't know why I got muted.
All right, mute yourself. All right, so GLB's Beard of Zeus Barley Wine. So we talked enough about GLB, Great Lakes Brewing, or Brewery, Great Lakes Brewery, not the brewing one from the other side of the pond. But we already know that GLB was founded in 1987, was bought out by Peter Balut Sr. in 1990, and then taken over by his kids in 2009. And they steered his business into a more craft beer direction. So let's talk instead about the history of this beer. Hey, not like we don't talk about the beer history on this thing. Anyway, so which leads us to instead to Kyle Teichert of London, Ontario, an avid homebrewer. Kyle participated and won the grand prize in the 2010 Toronto Beer Week homebrewing competition for his smoked porter, which was later brewed by Amsterdam Brewing as Teichert Smoked Porter. Kyle found repeat success in 2012 when he brought home the top prize in the strong ale category. That year's Toronto Beer Fest for his barley wine. He later teamed up. Who's not muted? Okay. He later teamed up with Great Lakes Brewery to brew a larger batch of this award-winning barley wine in 2013, this time going the extra step to age the beer on 4 Roses bourbon barrels for a full year. The final beer weighed in at a whopping 13% ABV and was released in 2014 as Beard of Zeus. Beard of Zeus has been brewed in subsequent years, being released again in 2017 and in 2020. Kyle Teichert has also gone on to have his own success in the industry, opening his own brewery in Seaforth, Ontario, which is called Half Hours on Earth, specializing in sours and farmhouse sales. So this year's batch of Beard of Zeus comes in at 11.8% ABV, 60 motherfucking IBUs, and has been aged for 9 months in bourbon barrels. And I couldn't find any more information about which barrels, but I'm assuming they're tasty ones. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to bring up Mr. Ash Lexicon here to read the comments.
God, my head looks so big in this. Yeah, Teku Murray's in the chat. He's saying, let's fucking get on with this shite.
Get on with it.
Lee is in the chat saying, the suspense is killing me. Then Teku Murray says, the out of focus Nick is killing me. I think it's very brazen of Manly to hide the dead body right on camera under the blanket. Dun, dun, dun. And then, Greg just says, hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. Nick was showing us his nudity.
You know it. Right. All right. So, okay. So I guess then we're going to move on to Lee. I guess you don't really have a history with this beer, but
Actually, I do.
Oh, you do? Okay. This will be interesting.
Yeah. So this beer, by the way, is courtesy of Ashley Sexacron. So thank you very much, sir. So I went back in my archive tonight and looked, and lo and behold, I actually have had this beer before. I had the, I believe, 2014 version of this sent to me by one Aaron Doucette via Teku Murray in the chat there. He was basically the beer mule, I guess. I had it back then. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 on my old scale. I think one of my big complaints with it, the only, well, not a big complaint, but the only complaint I had was there wasn't a lot of complexity in it. So we'll see what we think of this one, because that one I think was actually aged a year before they put it out, as opposed to this one, which is only 9 months or whatever. So I could be wrong about that, but and this I think is slightly higher in alcohol too. I think the 2014 was only 11, if I recall correctly. But I do have history, so we'll see how this compares. I watched my review, obviously not too closely because I'm trying to pull details out of my ass right now, but we'll see.
All right. Let's go over to Mr. Ash sorry, I won't call you that. Ashley, how you doing? And what's your history with this beer?
Pretty sure that this year's vintage was the only vintage I've had. I could be wrong, but I don't think we've had this at any share that we've had or anything like that in the past. So I'm just gonna have to go and say, I've had a few bottles of this already from the 2020. So let's just say that this was the first year I've had it. Boom, there we go.
All right. Okay, so let's go over to Virtual Beard and let him talk about his history with the beer.
No history at all with this beer. I think I heard Greg or somebody else mention that it's come out a few times now. This is my first time ever having it. Before, barley wines, very much hit or miss. The whole Thor's hammer debacle that occurred. There's a history for you.
All right, hold on. Okay, stop sharing.
Why was someone eating a bicycle in one of those videos? You watch weird shit, Nick.
Eating a bicycle? Oh, yeah. I know what that is. Never mind. Seth's bike hacks. All right. Anyway, I guess we have to flatter the narcissist here. What's your history with Great Lakes Brewing, Greg? I know you have one.
It's true, Nick. So this has been released twice before. I wasn't listening to your history, so I don't know if you actually mentioned this, but the first one was actually the recipe of, I think Kyle is his name, and he now runs Half Hours on Earth.
Yeah, we already covered that.
Okay, well, anyway, so this is the third time it's come out. I've had all of them, and I don't know. I've had a bunch of this year. I've had a bunch 2017. I made the mistake of I only ever bought one bottle of the first vintage because I didn't like barley wines back then, so I thought I'd buy one because it was like $15 a bottle, and it had a big sticker on it that says "Do not drink until this date," and it was like 6 months in advance. So I said, okay, they know what they're talking about. I'm going to listen to them. And I didn't drink it for 6 months, and frankly, it tasted like ass. So I wish I had tried it fresh because my experience is that it usually tastes better fresh.
What was the original vintage? What was that? 2014.
It seems to be every 3 years they release it.
Yeah, it was 2014, 2017, and 2020 is when they come out, and they usually brew it a year before. So, Yeah, I guess it's my turn to talk about history here. So my personal history with this is that, yes, we actually did have this at one of the bottle shares. We had it in 2018 on the 10th bottle share at Chris's place. And we had the 2017 bottling at that point. I forget who brought it. I want to say probably Greg, considering it's GLB. And that actually does mean Ashley probably had it.
I actually don't think I brought it, but I'm not sure.
Well,
I could.
I mean, it could have been somebody brought it anyway. I remember having it, and I gave it like a 3.75 out of 5. So I've heard subsequent years have been better. So remember, we'll have to see. But yeah, I didn't get a chance like Lee to try the very first bottling with it, but Aaron just said never did like me as much, so that's gonna make sense.
I mean, he's a good judge of character.
Shut up. Alrighty, so let's move on. And actually, I'm gonna full screen this guy again because we have more comments.
Ooh.
Actually, we have like one more comment. He's muted.
Yeah, I know I'm muted. Whatever. Oh yeah, so Lee says Greg's listening skills have been on point today. We've only had to repeat points 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm good at keeping secrets, because my wife, she can tell me something and I won't remember because I didn't listen.
Yeah,
and then it's been confirmed. Greg did bring it to the bottle share on the 10th. Thank you, Jamie.
All right.
Ewert, Ashley is muted. Thanks. I have a delay in audio to video. Good job, Nick. I don't know.
Nick, would you mind going out and helping his IT issues? Thank you.
Yeah, just tell him to reboot his computer and turn it back on.
Yeah.
Until after the show's over.
IT ticket submitted. Hopefully it doesn't go to Dan.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll be like 3 days getting back to you after that.
That's what we
All
got.
righty. Mm-hmm. That's all we got. All right, let's shoot this shit amongst ourselves because I need to think here.
Need to think.
Thinking and drinking.
All right, so this
Thinking.
to me, this it may like I said, I think the alcohol's a bit higher this year than the one I had. I feel like that's bringing out a bit more flavor in this. Like I felt I liked it a lot when I first had it, but I felt it was maybe a little too simplistic. Like it was just like a very good standard English style barley wine. I feel like this is a bit more complex. I'm getting like a lot more, like it was saying, bourbon notes. And I was like, there's not much bourbon, anything going on in this one. And this one, I feel like much more so there is. Like you get a little bit of the wood in the background. You get some nice sort of orange marmalade kind of English kind of barley wine thing there. Get a little bit of vanilla, sort of the molasses dipped raisin kind of thing. So very classic notes, I think, done very well.
Have you poured your entire bottle in there, Lee? Are you to the bottom, or?
I'm getting there. It's drinking very quickly.
I was gonna say, like, what's your clarity like? Because like I've poured half, and this is, you probably can't tell, but this is a crystal clear on my end. But the last time I had this, it looked a little bit more like Greg's. It was definitely.
This is more. Mine's more like in the range of like beef gravy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I do see some big little bits of dead yeast or whatever floating in there or whatever, but it's fine. That's par for the course of this shit.
Yeah.
I will just hop on Lee's back there and say that this stuff is stupidly smooth. Like it's one of those where if somebody just kept giving this to you at a party, you would just keep drinking. You'd be like, "Oh man, this is fine, 6% beer, no problem." And then at some point, you just wake up with someone on top of you. You don't know who they are.
Yeah, that's what I'm really noticing about this is that it's so damn smooth. Like this is dangerous stuff.
There's no alcohol presence really. Maybe a little bit in the flavor, but for the most part, it's like it's kind of like drinking I'm not directly comparing this to this sort of drink, but it'd be like sipping on like rum and Coke really quick. Like it's that smooth, like a where
I find it kind of low in carbonation. Is anybody else finding it low in carbonation?
It's very soft. I found.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a soft. Yeah, that was actually one of the. I actually wrote down notes this time. I'm pulling a Nick out of my pocket. I actually have notes. It's not a bad way to end the day, that's for sure. Or to start the evening, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, I'm sitting there drinking this thing, taking sips of it. And I'm like just drinking like it was a normal beer. Like I can't really tell if this is 11.8%. It's just so easy to drink and smooth that it's going down so easy. I could get in a whole lot of trouble if I had a couple of these bottles and didn't know how strong they were.
I just want to repeat how soft and smooth this beer are, just because I know it's going to piss Yui off.
Soft and smooth.
Incredible.
Soft and smooth, just the way chicks likes them. Yeah, shut up.
It's like velvet down your throat. Mm.
It's also incredibly drinkable. You were very drinkable.
Oh, yeah.
The drinkability is like off the fucking charts.
I would say it's just as drinkable as water, if not even maybe more so.
Definitely around the level of like a San Pellegrino or whatever foo water you drink.
I think we can all agree this is definitely better than drinking your own urine.
Depends on what your urine tastes like. I mean, if you're big into asparagus and you like asparagus flavor, maybe
I was going to say,
what
what if you drink this and then drink your own urine? Then could be a toss-up because that urine could be real smooth.
Yeah, it could be.
So I was muted and I said, or he's drinking Montpellier, and then fucking he goes and says Montpellier. But I was muted.
It's a lip reader.
Unless you read my
doesn't
lips.
count if you're muted. Unmute yourself.
Isn't that like the more ghetto San Pellegrino or something?
I think it is. It's like the President's Choice of San Pellegrino and Perrier.
Like Montreal trash water or something, isn't it?
Montreal trash water.
Yeah, I'm ready to get my rating on this, I think.
All right. Let's go over to Mr. Lee.
So this is probably a bit better than the first go around that I had with this. I think there is a bit more complexity in this time out. It's still not your super complex barley wine. It's definitely not all fuckulated like an American style barley wine can be at times. Fuckulated, like shoved with a ton of hops in it, and just like totally killing the balance of everything, right? But no, this is a very good like recreation of the British style. I could still stand for some more complexity, I think, and I imagine if I let it sit another half year. Something like that, it would probably come to fruition. But as it stands, as style wise, I mean, I can't really pick it apart. There's really not any faults. So I'm going to throw a solid 9 at it for style, and my own personal preference. Yeah, I could drink this all the time. Again, dangerously so. I could drink this all the time, which is just a good thing. I don't have access to it all the time. I will throw an 8.5 for my own personal preference. I've had better barley wines, a few better barley wines, but this is right up there. And cheers.
All right, cheers, Lee.
Cheers.
All right, let's go over to Ash.
Let me bring up my Nick notes, and I'll look slightly off to the side.
Oh shit, he's getting serious.
I'm just joking. To start off, this was not even refrigerated. This was not even cellared. It was just in basement ambient temperature. So it's probably at like 18 or 19 degrees Celsius. On the nose, I did pick up a little bit of alcohol on the nose, but with that, I also picked up some of the like vanilla, some dark caramel. Like more of like a not quite like a burnt caramel, but like more of a darker caramel type of aroma, and then I didn't get the orange. I wish I got the orange that Lee's getting. I get more of a cherry, like a slight cherry, and I find that slight cherry sort of carries through a little bit on the sip, and maybe It's just because I've had this at really warm temperatures. I'm not too sure if it's just Lee gets orange, I get cherry, whatever. That makes no difference. Body is, well, what Lee mentioned earlier, or what we mentioned earlier, the very low carbonation, so it's very soft, smooth. It's medium bodied. It's not too heavy. It's not too thick. It's not like a big chewy barley wine. It's definitely a little bit more on the medium side for body. The taste itself, right up front, is all Werther's candy. You get all the caramels, all the butterscotches, all that sort of thing, and then it sort of fades away a little bit to some more of that. Just a touch of that, what I would consider to be red cherry, but insert whatever dumb over-ripened stone fruit you want. You're probably going to get similar flavors. Get a touch of dryness from the barrel, but then more vanilla sort of carries through from start to finish on the palate. And again, on the sip, I do get some alcohol to it. Like, it's definitely warming. It's not like a burny sensation for those out there watching, wondering. It's just more of a warming in the chest and belly. But all I've had to eat is a granola bar on the way home. So, take that as you will. Overall, fantastic beer. I've enjoyed all the ones I've had. I do appreciate the fact that this is more of an English style barley wine, more so than an American style. Because I don't like an overly hopped up beer for like this type of style. So definitely on the barley wines, I'm a little bit more on the English side of things. So this is sort of right in my wheelhouse for personal enjoyment. I'm going to give this a 9.25 for personal enjoyment, and for style, I'll give it a solid. I'll give it a solid 8.85. Let's do that. 8.5. Yeah.
Once we're getting a perfect 9.
Yeah. And you know what? That's only because I sort of wanted some of those English hops to sort of come through a little bit more, if that's what they had used, But I mean, not too much, but I just wanted a little bit more. There we go. That's it. Fuck it.
All right. Okay. And let's go over to our favorite guy who's not here.
Oh, I thought I was your favorite, Nick. Fuck.
Guy that's not here, I said.
This is mildly incredible.
Mildly incredible. Not really incredible, just mildly.
There is zero hint of it being higher ABV. Like that, this is scary smooth. My only complaint, it's a tiny bit too sweet for me. That's the only thing I can say bad about it. It's a walking, incredible example of a barley wine. Style, 10. Personal enjoyment, 9. Just because of the sweetness.
Nice.
Cheers to all of you wonderful bastards.
All right. That actually brings us back up. So 10 and 9 for the Redbeard. And let's go over to Mr. Greg.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Greg.
All right, I forgot to write down what Ashley Sexton said. So I think we're arguing over what fruit this is about. I'm definitely in the apricot category. That's what I believe I taste or smell or whatever I do with it. Now, I'm in a bit of a unique predicament compared to, well, maybe not compared to Ashley, but compared to Nick and Lee, because I've had this beer all the way from fresh till now, and it's changed. It's the way I can describe it is it's almost you get the sweetness up front now, then it kind of really thins out, as Paul would be very upset about, and then you kind of get back end is kind of almost a bitter woodiness, which is just starting to just not be quite as good as it used to be. I am adamant that this beer is better fresh. And I don't think this is a beer that benefits from aging. Doesn't necessarily get bad, but I just think it's not quite as good as it used to be. But there's the disconnection. Like I almost feel like there's the two different flavors towards the beginning and the end, and then the middle is just kind of doing its thing. That being said, I will say it's very smooth and very soft and goes down your throat nicely. So Ewart would love this.
Wow.
There's practically no alcohol to it. I can't taste any alcohol. I get 6% IPAs that I can taste more alcohol in than this. As someone who's not a big fan of a barley wine, this one is pretty high up there. I mean, there's some famous ones like Thomas Hardy, and then what was that one, the Vintage Ale Founders or something that everyone raved about and was crap.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Fuller's Vintage.
Yeah,
and,
that one.
Thomas Hardy's.
Yeah, Thomas Hardy was not bad. This is better. Fuller's wasn't good.
Oh, the Sakaba.
This is much better. I don't remember Sakaba. I'd have to look at my rating for that. That might be up there with this. I for sure remember that being pretty good. But yeah, this is a really great beer. I've given this a 5 out of 5 on Untapped, which we'll do the math as a 10 out of 10 on anyone's normal scale. And I'm not going to go that high now because I'm rating this bottle, specific bottle, that's been aging in my cellar for a while. Exact same conditions as red beers. Not the same conditions as perhaps some of the rest of you. Nick, did I send you your bottle? I don't remember.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, so yours was in the same conditions up till the point I sent it to you. I don't feel it's as good anymore. But that being said, for a barley wine, which again, I'm not really qualified whatsoever to rate barley wines because I don't really like them, but this is a good one. 9.5 for that. My own personal preference, I have given this a 10 before, and I would happily give a fresh bottle that's a 10 every day. As it is right now, still delicious. I'd still love to drink it, probably a little too fast because every time I want to pop open a bottle of these, I sit down, want to watch a movie, and I think this will last me the whole movie, and I'm done within the first half hour, and then I'm like, what else am I going to drink? And mine goes downhill from there because I end up drinking too much. So it's very smooth, very soft is what I'm trying to say. It's 9 for me on personal enjoyment, which is, I don't mean to sound down on the beer because 9's a very high rating, but this was a 10 out of 10 for me, and it's lost the full point based on aging. So.
All right. Well, I guess there's that. I guess I don't think your beer's all that too dissimilar from mine, Greg. I think my opinion on it differs a little bit. So I'm going to get into my tasting notes that I wrote down here. Of course, everybody's been talking about caramel. I get caramel like Turbinado or Demerara sugar, kind of that like that molasses sugar, kind of more sugary than molasses. It's woody, earthy, loads of green raisins, and I'm getting a bit more of the cherry that Ashley was talking about than the marmalade. It is spicy. I find it's kind of got spices of like cloves, cinnamon, apple pie spice, and I'm getting a lot of like cinnamon apple pie spice in that. It's thin, like what our friend Paul of BBA Brew News would always say is like it's a bit thin, and it is. It's low in carbonation, a little thin on body on it. I find it's not quite as chewy as a good barley wine that I normally think of when it comes to that. Like I just recently had Thor's Hammer over the weekend, and there's always like Sakaba, and what was the other barley wine that we did recently? We just talked about it. I forget. Anyway, moving right along. I do want to say this thing is just like I've been saying all episode. It's damn smooth. You can sit down and drink this, and it's incredibly dangerous. It just goes down too quick. Like it's not. I mean, it is supposed to be a sipper, but I think it's just so smooth that you could drink this in a hurry and not know what you're doing. It's just too easy to drink. Still really enjoy this. So in an odd twist, I'm actually going to give it a higher score for overall enjoyment than I will for my style. So for the style, I'm going to give it an 8. It's just when I compare it to other barley wines that I've had recently, like Firestone Walker Sakaba just kills this. But this is still super tasty. I'm going to give it a 9 overall for my overall enjoyment. I really do like it, but when I think about other barley wines in its class, it's good. It's not that up there. It's missing something. It's too thin. I wish it was a bit more chewy. But other than that, I really do enjoy this, and I'm glad I got a chance to try this. So let me hand the reins back over to everybody else here, and I'll do my math skills.
So while you do that, oh, am I muted? No, I'm not. So my thought, and you know what, I'm sort of leaning towards this is fucking. I'm gonna have to get a fucking lobotomy after this one. I'm gonna lean with Greg and say that this bottle was probably better when I first got it, and I wonder if bottle conditioning sort of took away a little bit of this one.
Reduce the sugars.
Yeah, because it does come like as I had mentioned, you know, I found this to be a little bit more medium bodied. You thought it was like sort of along the same lines, as a little thin, and I wonder if the bottle conditioning process has sort of thinned out the beers and sort of changed it a little bit as it's aged.
I wonder if it is.
I don't remember it being this thin when it was fresh.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because I see this all the time with my homebrew, because I bottle condition all my beers, and if I just sit on a fucking random batch of beer and I pop it out and, you know, refrigerate it, whatever, you know, it's definitely I always notice my homebrew beers after a few months, they definitely get a little bit thinner. The taste changes a touch. They're not as shelf stable, and I wonder if this beer would sort of do better with, you know, just being force carbed and then bottled and then making it a little bit more and filtered and then making it a little bit more not shelf stable, because obviously this isn't a gusher, but, you know, maybe not going the bottle conditioning route that they did, because maybe it would help retain the body a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just spitballing on that one because it does feel like it did thin out a little bit over time.
Sorry, you're just telling them fucking clowns over at Great Lakes that actually brew fucking beer for once.
Listen, if Ashley was their head brewer, they'd make some good beer for once.
They would have a whole bunch of oxidized IPAs is what they would have.
They wouldn't be a failing business.
They would have some bad.
They wouldn't be the biggest losers in Ontario as far as the brewing scene goes.
No, we all know the golden age of the Cayman Kettle was when Ashley Spectrum was their head brewer.
Nothing but blondes and pale ales. That's all the world needs. And oxidized ones at that, because that's what I specialize in.
Lots of butter beer. That's good stuff.
No butter.
I can't believe it's not butter beer.
Just oxidization.
At least get some cream corn beer in there, though. You know, some canned veggies.
I'll try next time.
All right, so there's our final scores.
All right, so very solid beer.
Oh yeah, very much a well performing beer.
I'm shocked that nobody's photoshopped Carrie's face on that.
Holy shit!
It really does need to happen.
Jamie, I know you're there.
Yeah, come on, Jamie, do your job.
I mean, don't we see enough of Carrie as it is?
Yeah, but Lee, this would be a quiet Carrie.
I guess you got a point there. Yeah.
Are you really gonna challenge a Roman god, or it's Greek god, isn't it?
Zeus.
The ginger god.
Ginger god.
I will rip through the comments really quick.
All right.
And there
are a lot of them.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, I know they get talking.
So Teku Murray was bitching about his internet connection. I have a delay in audio to video. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then he says, "I'm trying to think, but nothing happens," said Nick Lowe. And then he says, "Smooth, the worst descriptor of beer ever." And then you guys should be on the Canadian Beer Awards judges panel.
We should be.
Well, I mean, when you see who gets awards in this fucking thing, yeah, they must have a bunch of fucking monkeys. So we'd be pretty close. We'd be pretty much on par.
I think I'm going to put my fake brewery into the Canadian Beer Awards one day and see what happens with some homebrew. Feel free to join us with the beer and show us how you do a real review.
You
soft and smooth.
Truth is, Ewart's lost the fucking mojo. That's why
just like Remdesivir.
And then he goes, "I don't drink." Lee says sexy. Tekumuri says Montelier. And he says with lime today, like those shitty fruited IPA. Saxa. Yes, bougie, which is spelt wrong. Fancy water.
We're making fun of CC Fortune guy can't afford good water.
Then Lee says fancy numbers. I'm assuming that's referring to my 8.85 or whatever. And then Tekumuri says Nick Darlow, reading his notes, is the apex of this review.
Hey, Nick is not a grinning cunt face.
Shut up, you were Terrio.
Are you literally shaming Nick? Asks Greg.
Literacy.
Yes.
Literacy.
Yes. And that brings us to the finale of the comments.
Yeah, that's all the comments. We haven't been asked the magic question yet. We don't have Eric Gilbert or Rainey on your parade in the comments on this one.
Yeah, who wants to know what next week's beer is?
And Andrew Watts is too busy making
Yeah,
beer.
we're done here. I mean, I guess we won't have a beer next week if nobody asks the magic question. So.
Yeah.
Oh no, our audience will be so upset. What'll they do
yeah.
tonight?
What will they do?
What would
Sorry,
everybody
we'll
do
just
if
pick
they
something at random and it's pop out next week anyway.
Terrible.
They'll probably just have sex with their significant other or their hand, depending what the situation is.
It's Eric Gilbert and Rainey on your parade. They don't have those things.
That is a big dead body behind you there, Lee.
Man,
Yeah, I can see that.
A big dead body.
that's what he
Nothing
does.
that big.
He hasn't taken the hooker out to the trash yet.
I
He or
feel
she
the
was
guy.
a
I think the guy erect.
Why would I take the hook? Theoretically, in Minecraft, if there was a hooker there, why would I take it out so quickly? I mean, there's still there's still plenty of good days with some Febreze I have over here.
Thankfully, there's one classy person in the comments who asked the
The
question.
hole just keeps getting wider. All right, so next week's beer is going to be Muskoka's Harvest Ale.
Ooh, we're gonna make
Knock the Harvest Ale out of the way while it's still fall.
Ashley, what do you think about that? You want to know what Ashley thought about
Ashley's
that?
favorite beer.
Watch last week's review.
Maybe I'll sit this one out, and then Nick can just play the replay of what I said last week. He can just cut last week's video up and just replay me, and then I can just sit in the comments. Nick, just do that. Like save me from buying the beer again.
Yeah,
I'll still be in the show.
Then Carrie's gonna have to work, and I'll be stuck here by myself with Greg. So that would be
But I can be in the comments instead of
not quite the same.
Exactly. Boom! I don't have to buy it again.
Nick, this will be like that time you stayed over at my place and totally don't remember everything that happened.
No, it was too past. It wasn't consensual. That's for sure.
No, considering you're the one doing it.
Yeah. I woke up in the morning with a sausage in my mouth, sausage McMuffin, but still.
That's even more disturbing that you woke up with a sausage McMuffin in your mouth. I don't know, how did that get there?
Like Nick was asleep and I just took the sandwich and shoved it in his mouth.
I don't know. No, I woke up and the way you woke me up was like you and Agnes had just gotten home with a bag full of sausage McMuffins. So have as many as you want, kind of shit.
Yeah,
I think I ate 2, but there was I don't remember so much passing out drunk at the end of that night, and I must have been woken up snuggling with shoes or something like that.
Oh, probably. I mean, they're all over my room, so.
Yeah, they were overflowing. I remember them overflowing out of your closet.
Yeah, they're organized on one shelf now, so it's okay, Nick. They won't attack you next time.
Got so you threw out all the boxes, and you had up to 4-foot high pile of boxes.
Well, okay, I'm working on throwing out the boxes. So far, I've not thrown out any
boxes. It's like keeping the packaging for all your action figures.
So now the boxes are in one place and the shoes are in another. It's taking up twice as much room. But
what were you doing taking up space in Greg's closet? He hasn't even left it yet.
Oh. Lee, don't tell my wife. Come on.
Stop.
I think she knows.
Come on. Well, you're being mean.
I am being mean. I'm sorry.
So, do you guys remember about a year ago when you thought it was funny? Like when we were in a chat and he would ask a question, and then he would drop out from the channel. And
he still thinks that's funny.
I think he just did it, but in chat, he goes, "What did he say?" He goes, "Nick, I have one question," and then he said nothing. So I think he dropped himself out of the chat, thinking that it was
fucking loser. That's so fucking lame.
We didn't even read the first part.
You suck.
All right,
you really suck, dude.
I think it's time that we end up going to the after chat. So I thank who was in the comments today. So thank you, Lee. Thank you. I think Jamie was in there once.
JV,
yeah. Lee by Lee, I mean Lady Lee, of course. And fucking Ewart, and of course Lee, Greg, Ashley, that guy, the bald guy over there, one of all the bald guys here. Thank you guys for coming on as usual and making this a pretty decent episode. Oh yeah, and Redbeard, who couldn't be with us here tonight, who gave us his digital presence.
I mean, that fucker can't even like call in sick one night for a very special beer. Like, come
It's a
on.
little hard considering he can't. Like, if he calls in sick, work is literally downstairs. It's not like they can't find him. He's
Well, are you saying that he's
drinking beer and hanging out with friends online.
Okay, and let's go.
He just can't be loud, not loud for one night.
Penis.
Ooh, that's very difficult for him. All right, penis.
Good night.
Night.